Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? Come on, Coimbatore, you don't sound like Ooty. Come on, how are you guys doing this afternoon? All right, it's a pleasure being here. I am from Bangalore. There's no easy way of saying this. I am a Kannadiga. Do we have Kannadigas here this afternoon? In Coimbatore, out of all places. But do we have I want to find out, how many Tamilians do we have here? Tamilians, give me a cheer. All right, before you steal my water, I'm just going to take it away from me. And I know how things are between the two states. Exactly, Kaveri is not going to be happy. So yes, I have titled my talk for this afternoon, The Voice Within. The thing is, I've heard a lot of inspirational speakers this lovely afternoon at TEDxCoimbatore, and you know, my job when it comes down to it is I get paid to make people laugh. And it gets a little awkward at times because people constantly expect you to be funny. And they come up to you and say things like, hey man, can you tell me a joke? And it's not the most appropriate question at a funeral, is it? So these are the sort of situations I'm put into. At the same time, passion, that's a very interesting word, and I believe at times it's easier said than done. Because for the longest time, I could see myself wandering from different career options, from different paths, from different ideas, from different things that drove me. And nothing really made me feel like I wanted to go back the next day and give 120%, if you'd like to call it that. Purpose is another thing, and I feel passion and purpose do come together at some point, and I believe that that happens when it comes from within you. And unfortunately, what's happening for most of us is that we actually live most of our lives going by, and our passions are determined by other people, be it career counselors, be it family members, be it friends, be it parents, all well-wishers. However, when a person determines or sort of influences your passion, I feel it's not genuinely yours. Do you guys agree with that, yeah? Because I feel like a lot of inspiring people today who have actually done work, and they call it work, they might not call it work, but it's actually coming from within. And this is essentially what I capture as the voice within. Because I feel a lot of people, the youth in India, and by youth I mean people between the ages of 20 to 40 even, are living most of their lives, and in fact they're not living their dreams. They're living their parents' dreams. And this is very evident when you see parents bring up their kids and say, listen, can you do this for uncle today? Dance, dance. And the thing is, a child might want to dance when it comes from within, but when they're forced to do a particular thing because their parents couldn't achieve it in their generation, it doesn't really become your passion, or your purpose for that matter. So therefore, I've called this the voice within as a voice, and it need not necessarily be a voice. It could be a little more than just a voice. It could be an emotion. It could be a feeling. It could be a sense of being, a sense of purpose. And when you genuinely address that and let it come out, that's your voice within, and that's essentially who you are. Having said that, if your voice within, if your inner voice has a German accent and Nazi influences, please ignore it. I don't think it's safe for any of us. But, the thing is, I'll tell you a bit of my story. I am a stand-up comedian, and stand-up comedy as a concept in India has picked up over the past 2 to 3 years. I've been doing it for a little more than 2.5 years now. And when I first started out, I thought to myself when I got up on stage the first time, come on, this is an easy thing, I can make people laugh. I realized the hard way that I couldn't make people laugh. In fact, for almost a year, I looked like a constipated goat on stage. And it got pretty traumatic. Watching those videos, I looked back and said, why am I actually doing this? And in fact, after almost 30 shows, my jokes didn't get funnier, but at least the constipated look went away. So that's some sort of achievement. But the point I'm trying to make here is that you don't necessarily always have to succeed the first few times you do a particular thing. But if it's truly what you want to do, you will get back on the stage, in my case, or you might get back on a horse if you're a rider, or you might get back onto a particular goal or a particular thought which you're really driven about. And this particular drive for this thing will only come from within. No one can wake you up every morning and say, wake up, go do this, go for practice, go for a training program, go for a particular course. No one can force you to do this. If you feel like you should do it and it's something you want to do, then it obviously comes without any problem. And as Akshay was saying earlier, he doesn't consider it a job. It's something he loves doing. Football, his actions, his contribution to society isn't a job he considers doing. It's essentially coming from within. And I believe that sort of captures your voice or your true sort of sense of purpose, right? I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. At the age of 8 years old, I was diagnosed with this particular eye condition called juvenile macular degeneration. For doctors in here this evening or this afternoon, you might know what the problem is or what the condition is. For those of you who don't know what it essentially is an eye condition which damages the retina, and in my particular case, it's rendered both my eyes with partial sight. So I've got no central vision in both eyes. I'm partially blind. I've got only peripheral vision. And this is it's been with me for the past 23 years, so I almost consider it as a sort of long-distance, long-term relationship with me. It's the longest relationship I've held. You can ask all the ladies I've been with. But having said that, I feel in India today, you know, I'll come back to stand-up comedy, but in India, we are extremely difficult. We find it very sensitive to talk about problems. And I'm glad this forum is allowing us to discuss problems, because I've seen a lot of Indians and their attitude towards problems. Because typically the world is extremely sensitive towards problems. You see the rest of the world going crazy about problems like global warming. The polar ice caps are melting, water temperatures are rising, the water levels are rising. Indians, global warming, oh, hey, turn on the AC, man. What, water pollution, call that AquaGuard guy, no, it's not coming only. And you think about it, the most serious problem we have in our country right now is overpopulation. And it's not a problem that can't be solved. You look at a country like China, who introduced the one-child policy. It's obviously worked quite effectively. And what did we Indians do for addressing our population explosion problem? We elected Manmohan Singh. Inaction speaks louder than words. And when a person doesn't speak, you can actually expect what his action's going to be. See, because we Indians don't really approach problems logically, right? Because at the rate of our natural resources, we're not able to sustain our population, and we still continue reproducing like, you know, there's no tomorrow. And in certain Western countries, the population growth rate has dropped at a drastic rate, right? So the reason why this problem worries me is not because of the lack of policies or the lack of actual aggressive measures. The reason I'm worried is because if these Western countries continue at that rate and we Indians continue at this rate, we're looking at a day very soon when even reproducing gets outsourced to India. And it's not going to be an interesting sight. But yes, coming back to my entire thing about my eye condition, I feel this is the entire approach to disabilities, right? Because while we make jokes about people with disabilities, people get extremely sensitive about it, and they feel you shouldn't make jokes about it. And that's the beautiful thing about stand-up comedy, is that even though it's it's essentially a form of entertainment where you go out on stage to make people laugh and make them feel happy, I believe it's beautiful because you can actually deliver a message through your joke. And I think that's amazing when you can do it through music or through film or through voice or through spoken word. And that's the reason why I get up every time back on stage, irrespective of whether people laugh or not, to come up and do a joke, because I believe that my messages can be done through jokes. And it's really important for people to laugh, at the same time going back home thinking that actually had something underneath. Speaking about now the problem with people and addressing disabilities is that Indians are very black and white when it comes to disabilities. For them, a person's either in a wheelchair or they can walk. A person can either listen to music or they're deaf. A person is either blind or they're not blind. It's very hard for them to see the gray area, right? Because, you know, when people come up to me and they ask me, they say, wait, you say you're blind. I said, no, I'm partially blind. No, you said you're blind. If you're blind, where's your seeing eye dog? Huh? Where's your cane? And I'm like, uncle, I can't find them. And they don't accept that, right? Because I've gone on stage quite a few times to address this particular problem. And the moment I come on, and I actually don't use a cane to navigate around, I don't use a seeing eye dog. That's not a joke, I actually don't. People get extremely confused, and they look at me and actually think whether I'm actually lying or just making fun of an issue. I am making fun of an issue, but I'm not lying. I can see you later. Actually, not really. Anyway, coming back to the thing of problems, talking about entire stand-up comedy and problems, we do have an entire plethora of problems in India. And with the entire sort of scope of trouble in the country, our politicians, the lovely people that they are, what did they do to address problems in India? Did they introduce lovely measures? Did they introduce intelligent ways of resolving issues? No. What did they do, ladies and gentlemen? They went and changed our city names. Why HIV when you can make Bangalore Bengaluru? Right? Why address poverty when you can make Madras Chennai? It's like, this is the scope of our political situation. Having said that, I don't talk much about politics in my comedy. I like to remain alive. That's one of the main reasons. Having said that, so I'll give you a bit of my sort of journey. As I said, when I was 8, I think the educational system in India is good. It's improving in certain ways. At the same time, I think there's a certain, because of my sort of family structure, my family support, I could get through my entire schooling system in India. The college system still is very each man, each lady for herself. There's not much support when it comes to this. So therefore, in 2002, I moved to the United Kingdom. I moved to a country called Wales. And Indian parents typically have a dream of sending their kids abroad, especially to the United Kingdom. They have this dream going, I want my child to go to Oxford, to Cambridge, to like speak like this, come back, not get a job. It's it's a sort of dream they have. My parents had a similar dream, but they got their geography a little wrong. Because they sent me all the way to study at the University of Wales in Swansea. Some of you get this reference. For those of you who don't get this reference, it's like telling your child you love them. You have a lot of dreams for them, a lot of hopes for them, then end up sending them to IIPM. Go, beta, go get one ponytail and come back. Go. No problem. Anyone here from IIPM? Please don't acknowledge this question. But, you know, the University of Wales in Swansea wasn't a very great university. In fact, it wasn't even in the top 5 universities in Wales. And they had about 2. No, but the Welsh, having said that, the Welsh are very warm people. You know, the Welsh are very warm people. I was supposed to go to Ireland before this, before I went to Wales, but my visa got rejected because I didn't get my visa because I didn't have enough alcohol in my blood. I didn't have to go to Wales though, and the Welsh are very, very warm people. And I think as Indians, we should all visit Wales. Because the Welsh are the only people in the British Isles, ladies and gentlemen, who can make the Indian accent sound posh. In fact, the Welsh accent is so messed up, when a Welshman and an Indian man speak, it sounds like a song from the Colonial Cousins. Because the Welsh guy's like, there's something about the way you smile. Indians, hey, something about mama got this. Oh, so yes, I did study there. I mean, I drank a lot, but I studied a bit. But I got my degree there in political science and sociology, and I moved back to Bangalore and did what every other political scientist and sociologist does. I joined the IT industry. And I had quite a miserable experience. I worked in IT for 4 years, and I think it was one of the worst 4 years of my life, because I worked for a terrible company, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I can't tell you the name up on stage this afternoon. Infosys. That's just a joke, that's just a joke. It was Wipro. Moving on. Now, the reason why it was a traumatic experience is because I was hired to be a copywriter for the IT industry. So we're already laughing. What is it? No one had a clue what I did. People used to come up to me and say, Sundeep Rao. I said, yes. You're that copywriter? I said, yes. By any chance, are you that guy who writes copyright 2012 at the bottom of the website? And I'd look at him with love in my eyes and say, if I did that, it'll be more work than I actually do. And of course, every team has a clown. People would come up and say, Macha, copywriter, other person writes you copy. Terribly impossible, right? See, because it's a very straightforward job description I was given. Proofread and edit content. But in IT, it is practically impossible to proofread and edit any content, because everything is filled with abbreviations. Like, these were work mails I would get every day requesting for work. Dear Sundeep, PFA, PDF. PLS do the needful and revert by EOD. FYI, FYA, FYP. If you're dad, if you're mom, if you're sis. VP, VVIP, VD, VVID. Return ASAP. TK regards sincerely, best wishes Rakesh. PS, hope that made sense. I would just reply, dear Rakesh, PFY, YFI. We have kids here this afternoon, I won't expect that sentence. What I'd like to leave you with, ladies and gentlemen, is that we all have a very unique perspective to life. We all are very different. We all sort of capture our emotions in different ways. And essentially, this comes out as the voice within. This could be a voice, as I said earlier. This could be an emotion. This could be an action. This could be a passion. This could be your purpose. My only point is, don't let others influence your voice. It should come from within. So we all have a voice within. Let it be heard. Thank you.
Thank you.